Dear friends of the Tom Photo channel and dear new viewers, not too long ago I made a video on RawTherapee where I showed you some pretty simple techniques to make your RAW file look really nice. Today I'd like to take the next step and I'd like to show you how you can automate some of these processes so that you don't have to go through each individual photo one by one, but you can batch process and it'll save you some time. Let me first open RAW file in RawTherapee. So this is going to be a photo of a flower and a small fly on top of it. Let me first make some pretty much random changes so that we see how it works. I lowered the exposure compensation to negative value. Let me also correct the shadow highlights a little bit and perhaps make the image a little bit smaller, crop it. So there you have it. This image we can now export. Let's go to save and export it as, for example, a 16-bit TIFF file. Okay, it's going to take some time to write this file because this is a large file. The moment you open your file in RawTherapee and you make some changes to it, actually it doesn't matter if you make changes or not, the moment you open it, RawTherapee creates a new file called a pp3 file. Let's open one of those, and this is now a file that we just generated when we cropped the image of the flower and the fly. And this is all the settings that actually characterize the image. What's really nice now is that you can start using this pp3 file as a template to apply to other images to save you some time if you want to process those other images pretty much the same way. And let me give you an example. So let's open a very similar file in RawTherapee. It's basically the same flower and the same fly, but it's a different photograph. And let's see if we can very quickly process it the same way. Now what we can do is we can again go here and change the settings exactly the same way we did before, or we can load the previous .pp3 file to save us some time. So let me show you. Here's the icon you should press. It's a folder icon, and we're gonna find our previous pp3 file. It's gonna be this one here. And now when I click open, take a note how it takes effect and how it changes the new photograph the same way. So this is how it used to be. Now it's loading, and now this is our new photograph. So basically we just had to click once, load the old pp3 file, and the new image was processed exactly the same way as the previous image. And this saved us some time. Alright, so this was if you have one image. But what if you have hundreds or thousands of images that you want to batch process? All you have to do is open the entire folder that contains all of the images in RawTherapee. So these are all the 200 images that we would like to now batch process. The first thing you want to do is double click on one of the images, and this will open the menu that we are used to seeing. By the way, I'm using Linux. If you are using Mac or Windows, your graphical user interface is going to look different, but basically the buttons are the same. So now that we have it opened, what we can do is we can change the parameters any way we want, or if we already have a pp3 file from previous session available, we can load that. Let's see if we can find our pp3 file that we generated before. I'm not sure this is optimal for this photograph, but we're gonna load it again and see what happens. All right, not bad, right? This is a pretty reasonable way of cropping this image. Okay, so we would now like to apply what we just did to all of the images. And the way you do it is you go to the image you just modified, you right click on it, you go to Processing, Profile Operations, and Copy. And then you go back up and you right click, you select all the images, right click again, go to Processing, File Operations, and choose Paste. Now it's going to take a little bit of time because we have a lot of images, but there you have it. We have 199 images processed exactly the same way. But we actually just generated the rules for processing these images. We haven't actually done it yet, so we have to process the changes that we are proposing here. So go back up here, make sure you have all of the images selected, right click again and choose put to queue. So now all of these images are sent to the processing queue. And let's go to the queue menu. And now you see how these images are all lined up and ready to be processed. So now we have to choose how to save these images. What is the way we name the image? Then we have to choose where these images are going. I'm sending them to the pictures folder. And then we have to choose the file format and so on. Right now I'm using 8-bit JPEG. The JPEG quality is gonna be 96. I think we're ready to start. So to start it, we just press the Q button and it turns blue. And you see how the process starts and the number of images in the queue here is decreasing slowly. So we started with 199 images and now we are already down to 196, 95. So it's going to take a little bit of time. But the good thing is that you don't have to watch it, you come back, and when you come back it's all done. Okay, I'll let the process go for a while, and so we generated a few images. I am looking at the pictures folder. This is where the images are that were produced, and we'll take a look. So this is our outcome. The images are smaller and they were processed the way we wanted. So why would you want to batch process hundreds of images? In my case, I'm doing it when I do time-lapse photography. I oftentimes have actually thousands of images to process, and I'm very soon going to produce a video on how I do time-lapse photography. So then I'll come back to the RawTherapee topics as well. So please stay tuned. And I want to thank you so much for spending some time with me. I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to seeing you again in my future and past videos. Have a wonderful day.